I mean, it segues nicely because we go from talking about Miami's win to Duke's win, and maybe you have broader thoughts about the ACC as a whole.
Yeah.
I think the ACC has played their way off the bubble. I think.
I have. I literally look. I'm gonna tap my chest. I was laughing. I was not mad, even though I may have sounded mad. But the ACC this entire season, I was going crazy because you couldn't talk. Everyone was talking out of both sides of their mouths. You know, they were like, Duke is here, the ACC is here.
Yeah.
And yet every game that I would watch in the ACC, even in Cameron Indoor, this ACC that was so far away from Duke would almost win the game or take them down to the last possession. So I didn't know what everyone else was seeing. But then I learned that propaganda exists. The PR machine works. And we get to the tournament, and guess what? Hey, Duke's a really good team. Shout out to them. They were right about that. But the rest of those teams that were so far removed from the stratosphere of Duke, they're pretty good too.
I will. I will say I'm supposed to be the foil to you when you get going about the ACC or North Carolina. But I'm with you on the. There was a moment this season. I think it was when Duke smacked Carolina.
Yeah, the first time around.
And it did feel like the discussions, the narrative, the whatever words you want, like the powers that be, that like the mechanism, the college basketball gods. It was wild to see that like Duke's win at North Carolina put them into the 1 seed discussion.
Yes.
While at the same time, because that was a huge win.
Huge win.
To beat
a team like North Carolina. But also a team like North Carolina
is on the is on the wrong side of the bubble.
So horrible, has no chance to be in the tournament, should not be respected. But also, we have so much respect for Duke for blowing out the team. You're talking out of both sides.
That kept happening. That did keep happening. They're like every time Duke would beat a team, you're like, that's a great win for Duke, but also that team sucks.
Yeah,
even worse than we thought.
That team will no longer.
But also, that makes Duke better. You're like, the gap has been widened even more.
and it goes back to like all I asked for Coach K is to be a champion for the conference.
He said Virginia belonged in the tournament.
And he was wrong. You know what else he said? He said Armando Bacot was the ACC player of the year after losing to him. He was wrong. I mean, be a champion for the league. He was right today, though, because he did believe, as we've said on this, as first reported on Titus and Tate, that he was going to beat Michigan State no matter what. And Michigan State played the best game that they could play.
They played the best. Like this was, we were talking about it as this happened. We went live for a little bit, and I said this on that broadcast that this Michigan State team is, I wouldn't say it's a likable like they're not hateable. It's just like, when you're going into March with a Tom Izzo team, there's like a certain charm, there's a certain charisma, there's a if they're lacking in talent, you're still like it's a group of guys you can talk yourself into, and they rebound and they play hard and whatever it is. But there's something about like the aura, the mystique of Michigan State in the tournament that you talk yourself into and you get excited about. And I didn't feel like this team had any of that all season. This was not a likable team in that regard. There was no Cassius Winston type personality or Denzel Valentine type personality that was like, drawing you in. So this to me was a forgettable Michigan State team all season. And today, at long last, there was a stretch where they take a lead, they take a 5-point lead.
Yeah.
And the way they were playing throughout the entire game, and Gabe Brown is hitting big shot after big shot, and Tyson Walker was playing great.
Great.
I thought to myself, I'll be damned, they did it. They're likable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just because they were playing Duke. It was like the way they were playing was so
Gabe
fun.
Brown was great. Marcus Bingham was great.
So I will give them credit. They salvaged their season in that regard. They salvaged their legacies of like this was like a stinker Michigan State team that. Tom Izzo, I said this to you as we were watching the game. I don't remember too many instances this season where Tom Izzo was throwing his arm around players.
Yeah.
I don't remember him even getting. He didn't really do like Aaron Henry type stuff where you and I should have had a discussion about Tom Izzo grabbing.
Is he going too far?
Has he gone too far?
Yeah.
Because we know that when Tom Izzo does that, he's doing it out of a place out of love. Yeah. And I felt like all season, like watching Tom Izzo and how he handled his team, that he didn't love his team.
It was a lot of like.
Yes.
He's like, I really like these guys.
And I felt like tonight, like if Michigan State wins this game, I really do feel like he's putting his arm around his players in the next game. There's someone. They're like Gabe Brown's getting the arm around the shoulder treatment that he loves to do with
You asked me about the ACC, and I was trying to think about a way to describe how I felt about it. It was Tom Izzo when they were up 5 points, and Duke got 3 straight fouls called on Michigan State. That's how I felt, because he was laughing. He was like, I'm not mad. I'm just laughing because of how ridiculous this is. But deep down, you're like, what is going on? How ridiculous is this? But Michigan State gave a great effort.
Great effort.
Again, I mean, Bingham and Brown are really the two guys that when you say, like, not as whatever traditionally likable, I think those are the face of the two guys.
Yeah, like those are the guys that have to step up for. I mean, Malik Hall, who was 0 for today and was a complete stinker of a game for him, but in 15 minutes. But I would throw him in the mix too. But it's Gabe Brown and Marcus Bingham, and when they're playing well and they're playing tough, Michigan State is.
And they were great today.
Yeah,
they were great today, and they earned my respect. And also Joey Hauser first reported on this program after having his career high against Davidson.
What did I say? He go 0 for 3. What did he finish?
He had 5 points.
Oh, he was 1 for 5.
Yeah.
He was 1 for 5.
So there you go. I mean, that's how it happens.
You know who was
Coach
great?
K knew.
You know who was great? You want to say maybe plug your ears, but I want to say some nice things about Duke.
Yeah, please.
Jeremy Roach was great.
Yeah, Jeremy Roach is the difference.
Jeremy Roach is the difference.
If you've been paying attention to Duke, you know that what they've always needed is a point guard.
A true point guard, a guy
on
that's
this
like,
group. Yeah,
not just a point guard, but the guy who's happy to play point guard. The guy who's like, I am totally fine in this role. I want
to help you guys do what, because Duke is, if not, I think the most selfish team in basketball that's good is Auburn. I think the second most selfish team is Duke. So you need someone that is trying to be selfless amongst this group of selfish guys. And Jeremy Roach is the perfect foil for that. He also hit a huge 3 late this game, so he has the cojones to do it. I think Mark Williams is the best player.
Mark Williams is awesome. Mark Williams is very easy to root for.
I said on this program once upon a time when we were doing the draft guide, I was like, how is this guy number 15? I see it now.
Mark Williams
I get it now. That was like in January. I do see it now.
You ask people who their favorite Duke player is. If they say Paolo Banchero, they're a basic bitch. Get him out of here.
Yeah. AJ Griffin is my favorite player.
AJ Griffin's a cool answer. Mark Williams is a cool answer. Trevor Keels is like, I know I'm not supposed to say Paolo Banchero, so I'm going to say Trevor Keels.
But Trevor Keels is like a role player.
Yeah, but that's not.
I mean, the 3 stars of Duke are Griffin, Banchero, and Williams. And in reality, when the other 2 are playing well, Duke is almost unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like if Paolo Banchero has 35 points but doesn't play a blended game and doesn't get other guys involved and plays selfishly, you actually can still beat Duke. But if those other 2 guys are playing well and they're connected, AJ Griffin and Mark Williams,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I mean, they could win the title. And I don't like to say that, but I mean, you see it.
Yeah, you do. You do see it. They are extremely talented team, and
Coach K said every game is a championship, so he's actually got 2-time champs. So these kids are now grown-ups, and they are now 2-time champions. And if they win in the Sweet 16, I'm ready to see the Kobe pose. I'm ready to see the Kobe and Shaq pose. 3-time champs, 3-peat. And then when they win the title, it's gonna be the Michael Jordan 6. So get ready for that. It's coming.
They only hang championship banners at Duke. So
how about that?
Are they going to hang?
Can we talk about that? Coach K.
They're going to hang 2 banners now?
Coach K said in a promo video on CBS where he was recorded on camera that they only hang banners that are championship banners in Cameron Indoor. And then shout out to the guy who edited the video because they immediately.
I want that producer on our show.
You're that dude.
Get that guy on the show.
Yeah,
he knows
you're him. You're him.
He's one of them ones.
Cut to the actual banners in there, which are like 15 vanity banners for Coach K. They have like the rank number 1 at the end of the regular
number 1
season,
at the end of the season,
which basically says like we should have won, but we got cheated in the tournament.
It's, like it's a we choked banner.
Oh my God.
The final number 1 ranking banner is just basically saying we choked.
Yes, we did not win the championship as expected.
You're the number 1 team, but we choked.
It's beautiful. That's the hypocrisy.
How about Paolo tweeting that nobody said that they were going to get it out of the first weekend.
Goes back to what you said. How can everyone have this much adversity? How can everyone be doubted? And
once I want one coach or one player or one team to be like, you know what's crazy is we're moving on to the Sweet 16, and we really didn't have like any struggle at all.
Yeah.
Like there's no like this season has been a dream. We've never had any problems.
The only coach I could see doing that, and I say this sincerely, is Hubert Davis because he's so positive. Everyone's like, didn't you have a lot of adversity that you had to go through? You had guys leaving. He's like, no, we just stayed together as a group. We kept our head down and we stayed humble. We kept working.
You know what? That's not adversity. That's life. You're like, whoa.
I'm like, dude, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Done it again. Duke moves on. Duke will now play Texas Tech.
Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.